When someone has spent months or years dealing with a narcissistic woman, there comes a moment when everything suddenly feels clear. The patterns, the confusion, the emotional exhaustion, the way your needs always seem to disappear in the background. It all starts to make sense. This video speaks to that moment, the moment you can finally name what has been happening to you, the moment you realize that the person you trusted, respected, or even loved never truly saw you as a full human being. The goal here is simple. This video breaks down the 7 main reasons why someone with narcissistic traits can treat you like your feelings do not matter. It shows why they expect you to be centered around them, why they ignore your boundaries, why they replace you easily, why they rewrite the story so you are always the problem. Everything is explained in plain language, grounded in real emotional experience, so you can finally make sense of what happened and why it felt so confusing. This is a conversation meant for someone who has lived through this, someone who needs clarity, validation, and a sense that they are finally being heard. If you have ever felt invisible, used, or pushed into a role that never belonged to you, this video is here for you. Let's start breaking it down step by step. She sees you as a source, not a person. A narcissistic woman often looks at people in terms of what they can provide. She tracks what they give, what they do, and how they make her feel. When someone sees you this way, you stop being a full human being and turn into a type of resource. Your emotions, needs, and exhaustion do not register the same way her needs do. She expects attention, reassurance, loyalty, admiration, or emotional reactions. Those reactions feed her sense of importance and control. When someone views you as a source instead of a person, everything becomes one-sided. You might talk about your stress, and it gets ignored. You show vulnerability, and it gets minimized. Anything you say is filtered through the question of whether it benefits her. This is why you can give everything and still feel empty. You are pouring energy into someone who only feels satisfied when you lose more. To her, this dynamic feels normal. She expects it. She feels entitled to it. She allows herself to take as much as she wants, without checking if you are drowning. The moment she no longer gets the reaction she wants, she becomes cold, annoyed, or distant. That is because she never saw you as someone with your own emotional world. She saw you as a background figure who exists to fill her needs on demand. Your feelings are ranked lower than hers. When dealing with a narcissistic woman, your emotions often feel invisible. This happens because she places her emotional experiences above everyone else's. Her discomfort matters. Her fears matter. Her stress matters. Your pain becomes small, inconvenient, or dramatic in her eyes. This is not because your feelings lack value, but because she cannot understand them in the same depth that she understands her own. She reacts strongly to her own emotions, but dismisses yours. When you try to communicate what hurts you, she may act confused, bored, irritated, or defensive. She may accuse you of overreacting or taking things personally. She may act as if your emotional reality is exaggerated. This is why you often end up questioning yourself, wondering if you are too sensitive or too demanding. The truth is much simpler. She lacks empathy for you, not because empathy is impossible for her, but because empathy requires seeing you as equal, and she does not see you that way. She sees her own emotional world as the main story, and your emotional world as something secondary. This is why she can cause pain. Ignore it completely and act like nothing happened. You are not being overly emotional. You are responding normally to a situation where your feelings are consistently pushed below hers. She expects you to orbit around her. In the mind of a narcissistic woman, everything is centered on her. She expects focus, flexibility, patience, and attention. She expects people around her to adjust their tone, timing, words, schedule, and energy according to her mood. When you do not do this, she sees it as disloyal, cold, or disrespectful. You are expected to understand her without needing clarification. You are expected to comfort her without being asked. You are expected to prioritize her, even when she does not prioritize you. She sees your efforts as the bare minimum and sees her own effort as something extraordinary, even if it is small. When someone expects you to orbit around them, they lose interest in learning anything about you. They do not ask deeper questions. They do not follow up on your feelings. They do not track what you need. They are not curious about your life unless it benefits them. This is not because you are boring or unimportant. It is because she sees herself as the main character in every interaction. This is why your needs often get brushed aside. You are not allowed to have a separate emotional rhythm. You are expected to sync with hers. And when you do not, she acts as if you have done something wrong. This dynamic keeps you stuck in a role where you give but never receive. A role where you adapt constantly while she does whatever she wants. You become a tool for her image. For a narcissistic woman, image is everything. Reputation, attention, admiration, and social perception hold enormous importance. This is why she keeps people around who make her look good. She collects people who can support her image, complement her lifestyle, or prove something about her status. When you become part of this, you get pulled into a role you never agreed to. Your achievements may be used to show how successful she is. Your loyalty may be used to demonstrate how valuable she is. Your kindness may be used to highlight how desirable she is. Even your pain may be used as evidence that she is the victim in the relationship. Everything you do is filtered through how it affects her public image. This is why you feel erased. She uses you as a stage prop to display her own narrative. When she talks about the relationship, she rewrites your behavior in a way that benefits her. She may exaggerate what she gave and minimize what you gave. She may present herself as generous or forgiving while hiding how much you carried. When you stop supporting her image, she feels threatened and may push you away. This is not a reflection of your worth. It reflects how she views relationships as tools instead of partnerships. She does not see who you are. She sees what you help her look like. 5. Your boundaries are seen as obstacles. A narcissistic woman dislikes boundaries because boundaries interfere with control. When you set a limit, she does not see it as healthy. She sees it as rejection. She sees it as rebellion. She sees it as disrespect. This is why even small boundaries, such as asking for space, asking for clarity, or asking for emotional consistency, can set off intense reactions. She has an internal system where your job is to support her needs instantly. When you protect your own emotional space, she feels threatened. She may try to guilt you, question your motives, reinterpret your actions, or accuse you of not caring. Her reactions are not logical. They are emotional responses to losing control. When someone sees your boundaries as an obstacle, they cannot give you safety. They cannot give you respect. They cannot give you stability. They treat your no as a challenge instead of a normal part of connection. And when a person refuses to respect your boundaries, they eventually push you into a version of yourself that feels small, drained, and disconnected from your own needs. This is why you felt like you had to shrink yourself. You were trying to avoid conflict with someone who treated your basic emotional needs as an inconvenience. You are replaceable in her mind. One of the most painful parts is how easily a narcissistic woman can replace people. This does not mean the connection was meaningless to you. It means she never formed the same depth of emotional bond. She attaches to what people give her, not who they are. When you stop giving the reaction she wants, she begins to pull away. She may act indifferent, cold, or distracted. This is because she never saw you as a permanent part of her life. She saw you as a role. When the role stops working, she switches to someone else who fits the script better. This can happen suddenly, without closure, without explanation, and without any emotional responsibility. You are not replaceable as a person. Your qualities, your loyalty, your depth, those are rare, but she cannot see them. She only sees the function you serve. And when that function changes, she jumps to someone new, looking for the same emotional fuel she has always demanded. This is why you often feel disposable in the aftermath, not because you lack value, but because she lacks connection. She moves on quickly because she never allowed herself to feel deeply in the first place. She rewrites the story so she is always right. A narcissistic woman does not see events the same way you do. She rewrites them in a way that keeps her protected. If she hurt you, she changes the story so you deserved it. If you tried to talk about something, she changes the story so you were attacking her. If she acted selfishly, she changes the story so she was the one under pressure. This rewriting can be small or extreme, but it always has one purpose. She must stay right, and you must stay wrong. This protects her from feeling shame, guilt, or responsibility. It also allows her to control how others see the situation. She may tell people a version of events that puts her in a good light and puts you in a negative one. When someone rewrites the story constantly, the truth becomes impossible to hold on to. You start doubting your memory. You start questioning your own perspective. You feel confused, unstable, and guilty for things you never did. This emotional pressure is not accidental. Understanding this pattern is important because once you see the rewriting clearly, you stop internalizing it. You stop accepting the guilt that never belonged to you. Real advice. Now that the patterns are clear, the most important part is knowing how to move forward. Healing starts when you stop fighting for someone who never fought for you. These steps are simple, straightforward, and grounded in what people actually experience when breaking free from a narcissistic woman's emotional system. A. Accept the truth, even if it hurts. Acceptance is not approval. Acceptance is clarity. When you see the dynamic clearly, you stop living in confusion. You stop waiting for a breakthrough that will never come. You stop hoping she will suddenly understand your feelings. Accepting the truth gives you control over your next steps. B. Reclaim control over your time and energy. Start investing your energy in yourself again. Spend time on things that matter to you. Put your emotional effort where it brings you peace, not pain. Every small step you take to prioritize your needs weakens her emotional hold over you. C. Limit access to your emotional world. You are allowed to protect yourself. You are allowed to create distance. You are allowed to stop explaining your feelings to someone who never listens. When you reduce emotional access, you reduce her ability to manipulate your reality. D. Set boundaries without expecting her to respect them. Boundaries are not for her. They are for you. She may ignore them, mock them, or twist them. That does not matter. You are not setting boundaries to change her. You are setting them to protect yourself. Every time you say no, you are rebuilding your sense of identity. E. Stop justifying her behavior. You can understand someone's pain without accepting their harm. You can care about someone's past without allowing them to break you. Stop making excuses for things that keep hurting you. Stop thinking her better. Moments erase her worst ones. They do not. F. Rebuild your self-worth slowly and consistently. Healing is not instant. It is gradual. You reconnect with yourself step by step. You start noticing your own needs again. You learn to trust your own judgments again. You build confidence through consistency, not speed. You grow stronger by respecting yourself every day. G. Surround yourself with people who see you fully. You deserve real connection. You deserve people who value your emotions, who listen without dismissing you, who care about your needs, and who respect your boundaries. You deserve relationships where you are not a background character. You deserve to feel like a full human being again. This is how you step out of the NPC role, not by changing her, but by choosing yourself. If you have watched this far, it means something inside you already knows the truth. It means you see the pattern clearly. It means you are ready to understand the role she placed you in, and you are ready to step out of it. That alone shows strength. That alone shows you are already changing your story. You were never meant to be a background character in someone else's life. You were never meant to be used for emotional fuel or dismissed whenever your needs became inconvenient. You were meant to be seen, valued, and respected. You were meant to have connections that lift you up instead of draining you. You were meant to feel safe, not confused and exhausted. This video wants you to hold on to one message. Your worth never depended on her ability to see it. Your value does not disappear because she ignored it. Your heart is not weak because it cared. Your future is not limited by what she failed to give you. You deserve a life where your emotions matter. You deserve a life where your boundaries are respected. You deserve a life where you are not replaced when you stop serving someone's needs. You deserve a life where you can breathe again. Take this clarity with you. Build a future that protects your peace. Move toward people who appreciate your depth. Choose environments where you are treated as a whole person, not a role. You have more strength than you realize, and this is the moment you begin using it. And as always, because YouTube's algorithm tends to favor videos with strong engagement, if you feel this video has brought you value, a simple like and a quick subscribe would mean so much. It not only helps this message reach more people who need it, but also ensures you will never miss the next video that could make a difference in your journey. Thanks all.